All right, guys. So this is combined lesson for 2.2, 2.3. They're very closely related. You should have notes in front of you. If not, print them out from the website if you've lost them or if you need them. We'll be filling in the blanks today, and there will be some questions for you to do on this handout to be submitted for marks. Okay? Guys, just remember, when I'm talking, you're not. Okay? That's the time for you guys to be quiet. Okay? If you have a question, please raise your hand. I'd love to help you out. But I don't like talking over people, okay? So that's one thing I ask. Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and begin filling some blanks in here for your sheet. So we're talking about credit cards, and we're solving credit problems in these two sections. So you guys know a little bit about credit cards already. I think I asked you yesterday, not many of you have credit cards. Anybody 18 and have applied and got a credit card yet? Okay. Okay, so one of you. Okay, that's great. We will talk, and we have talked about proper use of credit cards. They're a handy thing, but they have a very high interest rate, and so if you use it and don't pay it off right away, you're going to get into some very big interest payments problems. So please be careful with credit cards, although they can be very handy. So credit cards allow you to borrow money. So I'll maybe try and highlight the blanks for you as we go through. So they allow you to borrow money from a financial institution, whoever is issuing the credit card. It could be like Royal Bank or TD Bank or Scotiabank. It could be President's Choice, it could be Canadian Tire Bank. It could be whatever financial institution has the infrastructure to make these cards and to give them out to people that they think will pay them back. So you use that money to make purchases, okay? So that credit card is like the money that you need for that purchase, and it's actually the financial institution that's paying for it. So when you use a credit card, you're not using your own money right away. You are borrowing money that must be paid back later. Okay, so you all understand that, right? You get a statement in the mail saying, hey, this is what you spent on the card, this is what you used the card to buy, and now you owe us for that. And if you let it build up, then there's extra interest, big time, that comes along with that payback. So each month the credit card company sends a statement. So you should fill in that word statement, showing the total amount that you owe. So that is the balance. Okay, you have a credit card balance. That's what you owe. Any new purchases, so they will show you, they'll give you a list of your purchases, the date that you did it, that you purchased it, the posting date, so that the credit card takes a day or whatever to post it onto your account. And then the place that you spent the money at and the amount. The interest charged and the minimum payment, so minimum payment, that is required. Now, I think we'll talk more about minimum payments here. Minimum payments down below, so I'll just save that. So they don't ask you to pay it all off, but they do state a minimum payment that you have to pay in order not to be in default for the loan kind of thing, right? So interest on credit cards. Credit cards charge interest, which is... charge interest, yep, that's your word in your blank there, which is the cost of borrowing money. So again, like we mentioned yesterday, you have to pay interest to say thank you for that institution for paying for your stuff. So here's what I owe you, but here's the thank you. That's what interest is. Okay, so be careful how much thanks you give, right? How much thanks you're on the hook for. Interest is usually given as an annual interest rate, but it is usually applied daily. Okay, so with credit cards, they have a high interest rate, and they split that interest rate up into 365 bits. Okay, so it's a small amount, right? But it's charged every day. And they do that because the higher frequency that you get charged interest, the more interest accumulates. And so instead of waiting to the end of the year to charge you a large amount, they do it every day. So every day that you carry a balance on your credit card, you are getting interest added to that. It's a small amount, but it's every day. It's not like you can wait for a year and just before you get charged your interest payment, you pay it off real quick and then you don't have any interest. Ha ha ha. Joke's on you. No, it's every day. So every day that you're behind, now they go back. So this grace period that we talk about, they don't charge you interest, but as soon as that day comes where that grace period is over, if you still have a balance on your credit card, they go all the way back to the beginning and they charge you interest on all those days. The grace is done and they go back and they get their interest for all those days as well. So you have a big interest payment right away, and it keeps adding every day. So credit cards are great, but just be careful when you use them, all right? So interest is calculated on the unpaid balance, so anything that's still on the card. If you do not pay off the full balance each month, interest will be added, increasing the amount that you owe. Okay. So credit cards are great, but they can be real tricky. So the minimum payment, let's talk a little bit more about that. The minimum payment is the smallest amount that you are required to pay each month. Now, paying only the minimum reduces your balance very slowly. And of course, the credit card company wants you to keep some money on that card so they can keep charging interest, but they do require you to pay a little bit each month just so that they know you're still alive and so that you don't forget about it. But if you pay just the minimum balance, like, oh, great, I only have to pay $10 on my credit card this month. Woo, score. No. If you have $1,000 sitting on there and they say your minimum payment's $10, and you think, all right, I only have to pay $10, no big deal. Well, on that $1,000, interest is bumping every day, and they just say, oh, just pay us a little bit amount. But you can get to the space where you pay that amount and there's more interest that month than what you paid. Could be crazy. Okay, I won't preach too much more on credit cards. I mean, they're great, but you have to be careful. Okay, so this causes you to pay much more interest over time if your balance is extended over time. Okay, so the credit card companies want that interest, and they're in the business of collecting interest to make money. Solving credit problems. Okay, so did we get all the much more? Oh, interest here is the next blank. Mathematics helps you understand the true cost of using credit. So you can calculate monthly interest charges. Okay, so you can calculate monthly interest charges. You can determine how long it takes to pay off a balance. And you can compare payment strategies. All right, so we will be doing some problems to say, you borrow this much and blah, 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 and you make the minimum payment, blah, blah, blah. How much interest are you being charged the next month? Or you have an interest-free period and you don't pay it off in time. How much interest will you pay 2 months down the road? Okay, so we'll use math to help us understand fully what things will cost. Also, debt consolidation. You can save money by paying off, do I have a blank here? Yep, one debt instead of paying off 2 or more at a higher percentage. So if you have credit card debt and you have a loan on your car and you're having trouble getting out of it because the credit card percent is like 22% interest, and it's like you can charge hundreds of bucks each month just in interest, and your car is a bit much, you can go to your bank and you might be able to get a single loan where you can take all that money you owe, put it into one loan with a lower interest rate, and then you can just pay off that one loan. So that's what debt consolidation is. If you have a multiple loans or whatever for high percent interest, you often can take that balance and transfer it to another loan and squish it all into one and have a little bit lower interest payment, and then it's easier to get out of. So often one large lump sum comes at a lower percent interest. So if you go to your bank and say, listen, I need a line of credit to pay off these 2 loans, then paying off that line of credit or whatever, that comes at a lower interest rate. And usually if you have a higher amount of money that you're borrowing, they'll give you a lower interest rate. So 2 small amounts makes 1 large amount, lower interest rate. Yeah, question?
Why would they want to do that? Because that would lose some money over time.
Well, it's not the same companies that's doing that. It's you doing that with a third company. So if you have credit card over here, MasterCard, credit card, whatever, and if you have a car loan with yo-yo financing, then you can go to your bank or your financial institution and say, hey, I owe this much over here, I owe this much over here. Can you guys just pay that off, and then I will pay you at a lower interest rate?
Okay.
That's what it is. Yeah, so it's not the same company saying, hey, we don't want as much interest anymore. It's not that. But good clarification. Okay, all this making sense so far? Okay, credit cards are bad, right? No, evil credit cards. Okay. No, they just have a high percentage of interest, so you guys gotta be careful. That's all. Because I'm like, I don't know how people get into credit card debt. Like, I honestly don't understand. It's mostly lack of discipline. That's what it is, right? It's like, oh, I have a credit card right here. What's that, $1,000 stereo system for my car? Yeah, totally, right here. Boom, click, done. And it's just like, dude, you got to pay that back. And you're not going to be able to pay that back this month. It's going to take 3 months. You're going to owe $500 in interest. But it's discipline, right? So if you know you can pay it off at the end of the month, then go ahead and use it. But it's not like a magic ticket. So again, I said I was going to stop preaching about that, but I care about your financial future. And I know people who have taken years and years to get out of credit card debt. Years and years and years. So they miss school because they can't afford it. They have an old beat up car, or they have no car because they can't afford it. You know what I mean? All right. Explore the math. Let's explore the math here. All right. So we have an example here. And this is from your textbook, but we're going to work through this together. This is the type of question that you're going to need to work through. And I think this is already from, I think this is from 2.3 already. Is there, this is the 2.2 example. Okay, so Jaden saw the new sound system he wanted for sale for $2,600. All right, Jaden. Including taxes, okay? Including taxes. And so he had to buy it on credit because he didn't have that much money saved up. And he had two options. So the two options are this, which we're going to explore. He could use his new bank card, which has an interest rate of 14.5% compounded daily. So that's a bank credit card. Because the credit card is new, he has no outstanding balance, so he has $0 sitting on there. Or the second option is apply for the store credit card, which offers an immediate rebate of $100. So he gets $100 off this $2,600, but has an interest rate of 19.3%, where this one was 14, and it's also compounded daily. So what we're trying to decide here: should he take the whole amount with 14.5%, or $100 less at 19%? Which one is going to end up to cost him a little bit less? Okay, so with most credit cards, Jaden would not pay any interest if he paid it off at the balance before the due date on the first statement. However, Jaden cannot afford to do this. Both cards require a minimum monthly payment of 2.1% on the outstanding balance, but Jaden is confident that he can make regular payments of $110. Regular monthly payments of $110. Okay, so we are going to need some graphing technology for this. I will make you do this with formulas and stuff. So please take a moment, if you haven't already, grab a graphing calculator that has the finance app on. I see a lot of them are gone, so you guys need to grab them. Go ahead and do that quick. All right. Oh, man. Okay, guys, so listen. So calculators, go to the applications, finance applications, hit enter, TVM solver. So if you're at home and you don't have this calculator that I have, there will be a TVM solver online. I have a link on the website. You can check it out. You need some kind of interest or investment calculator. Okay, so we're gonna do this again. We're gonna check out how much this cost is going to be. So first of all, it doesn't tell us how long it's going to take for him to pay this off. So the first thing we'll need to do is pump in the information for each situation, and we'll need to find first the amount of time it's going to take to pay it off. Okay, that's a big deal. So which credit card option is better? Well, let's find out with this $110 payment. $110 payment, let's see how long it's going to take to get that cleaned up. Okay, so on your calculator, all right, so N is what we're trying to find. We don't know N. We do know what the annual percentage is. The interest rate is, let's do the first one, so 14.5. Okay, the present value that's on the card is going to be this 2623.95. Okay, now I used just a positive value here because that's how much is on, that's to his credit. The payment is going to be 110, so if he's paying it out, that's negative 110. That's the payment. Future value, he wants to pay it all off, so we're going to go to 0 there. The payments per year, it's monthly payments, that's 12. And compounding periods per year, this is daily interest, right? Compounded daily there. So we're going to make that 365. And payment's going to be at the end of each month. Get back to this here. Okay. So the 2.1% here in the question, if you look at that, The card requires the 2.1% as the minimum balance, as the minimum payment, but the 110 is going to be much more than that, so we don't have to include that 2.1% in anything. Does that make sense? So if you're wondering about the 2.1%, that would be the minimum payment, but he is going to pay more than that. So 2.1% is less than the $110, okay? So he's paying more than the minimum. All right, so what we're going to do is now is calculate the amount of time. So this n will be, looks like the number of months when we calculate this. So we'll do alpha enter, which is the solve. And we should get something like 28.34, and that's going to be months, okay? The payment term there. So 28.34 months. So option number one, option one is going to be 28.34 months times $110 per month. Okay, which if you do that on your calculator, that should be about 3117.40.
Can you pull up the other screen by any chance?
Just give me a second. So this first section here, the n is 28.34. Okay, the payment is negative 110. Now, if you put both of these as positive, the present value and the payment, you're going to have a problem, I think. That's going to be trouble. So one has to be positive because it's money you're receiving for the stuff, and then one has to be negative, you're giving it out, you're paying it out. Okay, so that's the total cost for the first one. We'll do something very similar to find the total cost for the second one. Okay? So we are going to find out with this one as well how many months it's going to take to pay this one back. Okay? And of course, the one with the higher months is going to cost more, right? If it takes you technically more time to pay it off at the same payment, it's going to be more, but we'll find out the total cost. So what do we have to change? This 14.5 has to go to 19.3. That makes sense? Okay, so new percentage. The value that he's actually taking, that's going to have to change because he got $100 off at the store. Hey, $100 off, that's great. So this 2,623 goes to 2,523. Does that make sense? Same payment. He wants to pay it all off. All these numbers are still the same. So we go back up to the n. If we want to solve for n, you do alpha, enter. That's solve. And this is?
30 months.
Ooh. Well, okay, let's be specific. So let's go to two decimal places because they both might round to 30, right? So that's a problem. They don't, but this is actually 28.9. Did you get a different answer? Wait, what?
Check that e-payment and present value are not.
With the rebates.
Oh, but you took that?
Okay, did you change this 2,623 to 2,523? Okay, so you didn't change the 2,600 to 20? Okay, all right. So try it. Make sure you get this number. This is the number you should get.
Wow. I see how it is, Abraham.
Okay? All right. Now watch how fast I'm going to do this, you guys. Watch how fast I'm going to do this. Let's see. I'm going to go. Look at this. I've got it all on the screen for you right there. So 28.92 is the number of months. Now see 28.34, 28.92. It's technically going to take you just a slightly bit longer to pay that off. I know it's within the month technically, but when you multiply this number, and I used all the decimal places here, when you multiply this number by 110, you get something that's a little bit higher. So the second option with the higher percentage, even though you got a rebate, you got $100 off, you're still going to end up paying a little bit more. And just so you know, 28 months, that's over 2 years, right? 24 months is 2 years. So that's 2 years and 4 months to pay it off. Okay, you want a sound system for $2,600 and $110 a month? It's going to cost you, look at how much extra it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you $3,100 minus $2,600 because you did pay that, or no, 25. So it's going to cost you the difference there. That's how much it's going to cost you. So total cost. Now, let's find out the total cost because that $100 off is not your $100. I mean, well, this is the total cost. I guess this takes into account the $100 off because we changed it here, I guess. Yeah, it's $100 off at the beginning. Okay, so that's it. Any questions there? Those two? So option A is better. By what? 70, 60 some bucks. Okay. Yeah, option 3, save up money and just buy it outright. Then you don't have to pay the, what is it, $500 interest.
Yeah.
$500 interest. Look at that. $500. Thank you, credit card. Thank you, piece of plastic. I want to give you $500 for allowing me to buy this sound system. All right, example 2. Are you ready for example 2? Did I write on this one? No, this one. Okay.
Wait, Mr. Maxwell.
Yeah, wait, what? Yeah, hi.
What did you do to the 2.1% for outstanding balance? Did you just ignore
Okay, let me talk about the 2.1% again. Listen carefully. So if he was going to be paying the minimum amount, that's 2.1%. So if he was paying the minimum amount, we would have to calculate 2.1% of this 2,600. Okay, the original was 2,600. So 26, what was it? 23? 0.95. Okay, is that 0.95 times 0.021. Darn it, the 0 didn't show up. Come on, 0.021. Okay, so watch carefully. Then $55, that would have been the minimum payment. So the 2.1% represents the minimum payment that is required. But this person said, hey, I can do 110. So we're going to use that one. So imagine only paying $55. Oh, I have to do it now. This is I have to do it. So what happens if, even in this case right here, so he was only able to pay the minimum, which is $55 point whatever. What was it? 55 bucks. Let's just say 55 bucks. Okay, let's do 0.5 or whatever. So if he paid just the minimum, how long would it take? Let's go up there and alpha solve. 83. 83 months. So 83 times 110. He's fried, yeah. 83 times 83 times blah, blah, blah. 55.
Yeah.
83 times 55.5. 4606. Another $1,500 if he paid the minimum payment. You see what I'm saying? Woo! So that's, look at, he bought the system for $2,600 and he would be paying $2,000 in interest by paying the minimum payment. Ouch. Almost double. Okay, we gotta get this last one in, guys. Nikki. Any Nikki's in the room? Not this year. Nikki wants to be debt-free in 5 years. Yeah, congratulations, Nikki. I'd like to be too. She has 2 credit cards on which she makes monthly payments. Okay, quiet now. Okay, card A, you guys got this you guys got this, right? So card A has a balance of $2436.98 and an interest rate of 18.5. Card B has $3,000 and change and an interest rate of 19 compounded daily. Now, Nikki has qualified for a line of credit at her bank with an interest rate of 9.6. So do you see how these credit cards, high percent, and the line of credit, lower percent interest? So what she wants to do is she plans to pay off both credit card balances by borrowing the money from her line of credit. So how much interest will she save? Okay. So what we're going to do, how much will she save? We have to find out what the total cost is of each individual card if she didn't consolidate. Okay, so we'll find out what the interest is if each of these go to completion, and then we will combine this dollar amount right here and find out what she would have to pay at a lower percentage in 5 years. Okay, everything is in 5 years, right? Line of credit, how much she save? Yeah, 5 years. Okay, she's gonna pay. I don't know. She's going to pay it off monthly, I guess? Is that assumed? Does it say in there? Okay. All right, so let's do credit card A first. Okay, credit card A first. Let's do apps, finance, TVM solver. So credit card A. Okay. Okay, so the number of payments, if she's going to do monthly. So that's 5 times 12. And notice that you can do this calculations here, and you just hit enter and it'll do it for you. So you can let the calculator do the calculator stuff. There's 60 payments, 5 years of monthly, okay, for card A. So the percentage for card A is 18.5. Turn this over here a bit. 18.5. 0.5. Hello. All right. The value is 2436.98. The payment, that's what we're trying to find. So what else do we need to know here? Future value, she wants to pay it off. Payment frequency is 12 times per year monthly. The compounding interest is what? Daily? Does it say daily? Yeah, daily. So that's 365 still. Okay? So we're going to go back up to the payment and solve for that. All right. So 6273. Does that, do you guys all get this?
Yeah.
All right. Get this payment amount, okay? So for credit card A, 6273. That's going to be the payment. And that's going to be times 60, right? That's going to be how much she's going to spend in total. So if we do 60 times 6273, 3763.80. 3763.80. Okay. Now, if we subtract the original amount, I get the interest on card A. So 2436.98. That's the original amount. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that, just like I'm doing here. So minus 2436.98. Should be 1326. I get 82. Is that right? 63. Oh, 63.8. Yeah. Okay. 1326.82. Is that what you guys get? 1326.82. Okay. I got a little bit different sense here last time. I'm not sure why. Maybe I used the whole decimal place there last time, so 82. If you got 90 something, that's okay too. Use more decimal places, but also with money questions, you can round it to cents is fun. But use as many decimal places in the question as you can. Okay, so let's do the same with B. Okay. So you go ahead and, I tell you what, why don't you go ahead and try this on your own in the calculator, do what I did. Go to the finance and find the total interest for B. Okay. I'm gonna pause here for a bit, and you guys go ahead and try and figure that out. So the interest for the second one should be 1708.14. This is the total interest for the credit card separately. Okay, now to finish this off, shorten classes, so the bell just rang. So I'm not going to get to finish this off with you in class here, but what you need to do now, okay, listening, with your TVM solver at home, or come at lunch and finish this with my calculators here. So add these two together, okay, add those two together, and then find out how much she would have to pay at 9.6%, okay, and then compare the interest with this. So that's what you're finishing doing. Please do that. Please finish this today, and work on your handout questions that are in there too. Shorten classes so you don't get a lot of class time. I will finish this video at some point and post it so you can watch the video later if you get stuck, okay? I'll finish this in a few minutes. All right, so here we are. Let's continue. Let's complete this question. So as I mentioned, we have to add these two dollar amounts for the total amount that is owed, and the line of credit is going to pay this off. So let's go back to our calculators, and we are still going to pay this off in 5 years. The percentage, let's start from there, is, was it 9.6? Okay, so it's 9.6%. Okay, so when we add those two up, let's see. I'm just gonna go down here. I have the previous number. I'm just gonna do plus 2436.98. And if you just hit enter, it should do that calculation for you. So 5,480.24. Okay, so that's the total amount. And the future value, still zero, want to pay it off, 5 years, monthly. Interest is compounded. Oh, look at this, interest compounded monthly here. So it's not compounded daily. So that means I need to change this to 12. You know what, that's actually gonna save a lot of money, isn't it? You remember? If the compounding periods per year are lower, there's lower interest. So that's gonna help. Look at that. The percentage and the compounding, that's gonna help, I think, quite a bit. So the credit limit is 6,000. Okay, so this is under 6,000, you see that? So if it was over 6,000, you'd only be able to put 6,000 as a max in here, and then you have to deal with the rest. But anyways, anything else? No. Okay, so let's find out what this payment will be. So alpha, enter is solve. Okay, so it's going to be 115, okay, for the total amount. So 115.36. So let's go down here and we'll do the C combined. I'll do that in blue. Is 115. Ugh, what is that? 115. What did I say? 0.36, I think. So times 60. Okay, now remember, yes, this is quite a bit more than these two, but this is the combined amount. And even right here, look at 6 plus 7 is 13. So this would be over 130, 140, right? The payment. So we already know that we're lower. Okay, so let's do 115.36 times 60 is 6921.60. Okay, so that's the total minus the original amount, which was 5480.24, right? That's the balance, that's the principal. So let me do it here, 5480.24. And we get 1,400, why, what? 1,441.36, is that right? Wow. Look at this, $3,000 interest versus $1,441.36 interest. Crazy, hey? Look at that. That's like less than half of the interest. So debt consolidation, big deal, right? Big deal. Lower percent, fewer compounding periods can save you a ton of money. So if you ever get into trouble, you got loans, you're having a tough time getting out of them, think about debt consolidation. It's a very real possibility for you. Okay, so the rest of this is the assignment, and I'm just going to go back to 100%. So the assignment, there's a few questions for you to answer here, just general questions about the lesson, some fill in the blanks, and some multiple choice questions here, and then a reflection piece, and that is the end of this lesson. So there will be some questions from the my website, remember, mrmathwell.com. So for 2.2 and 3, these are the homework questions that you should do in order to take advantage of the homework quiz boost. All right, there you go. Hope you have a great rest of your day. That's 2.2 and 2.3.
That was easy.